Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're going to be stepping off the marked path and plunging straight into a dark, deeply unsettling account. I want you to just take a second and imagine being out in some dense, ancient woods. The sun's going down and the light is fading just a fraction faster than you think it should. Well, today we're looking at a narrative that takes those totally normal, natural fears of the wilderness and twists them into something honestly entirely unnatural. So, get comfortable, keep your eyes on the screen, and let's explore The Forest Replaced. Most disappearances have natural explanations, but some don't fit so easily. As we go through our analysis of these case files today, I want you to keep that quote right in the back of your mind, because we're about to look at situations where the standard analytical rules of missing persons cases, they just completely break down. We're moving way past exposure or, wild animal encounters and stepping into a territory where logic literally just falls silent. Okay, so let's dive right into this first case. The cold open of our source material puts us squarely in the Great Smoky Mountains with a woman named Emily and her husband Jason. Picture this, it's 6:37 p.m. Jason is right in front of her, he's laughing, pointing out something up ahead on the trail. Emily steps off the path. Just a few feet, right? But that is literally all it takes. 20 seconds later, Jason turns around and she is gone. No snap twigs, no frantic footsteps running away, no sound at all. Just this unnaturally thick fog that doesn't even roll in like normal weather, it simply appears. Now, to really understand what we're looking at here, we have to frame it within a broader phenomenon that you might have heard of. It's known as missing 411. Now, this isn't some official government classification or anything. It's a popular term used to describe unusually puzzling wilderness disappearances that just completely defy conventional logic. We're talking about cases characterized by genuinely impossible circumstances. And by grounding our story today in this sort of pseudo-investigative reality, the horror of it all becomes so much more palpable. Let's look at the specific pattern of anomalies going on here. Sudden, silent disappearances. Rapid, totally unnatural weather changes, tracking dogs abruptly losing a scent, victims found in unexpected or just impossible places. And Emily's case, it matches this to a T. Get this, when the park rangers arrive about 3 hours later, the tracking dogs pick up Emily's scent for exactly 50 meters. And then, the scent doesn't just fade out, it stops. Just stops. It's almost as if she had simply ceased to exist on this plane of reality. Let's move on to Case File 1, The Runner. So this next incident actually takes us back 2 years earlier in the exact same park, reconstructing the final movements of Mark Ellison, who was a very experienced, highly fit trail runner. We get this really chilling timeline. Look at this. At 3 p.m., his GPS shows a completely normal, steady pace, but at 4:13 p.m., he abruptly stops moving. 1 minute later, at 4:14, he walks straight off the trail and into the dense forest. No hesitation at all, no erratic running, just a sudden, completely unexplained deviation into the deep woods until his signal is permanently lost at 4:20 p.m. I mean, ask yourself, why on earth would a seasoned runner do that? Well, days later, search teams actually recovered Mark's action camera. On the playback, you can see Mark slowing down. His breathing is super heavy. And then he asks this question out loud. Do you hear that? But the thing is, there is absolutely nothing audible on the tape. Nothing. He turns the camera into the trees, and what's truly terrifying here is that as he stares into the dark woods, his heavy breathing starts to slow down, his face relaxes, his fear just inexplicably vanishes. Then the footage glitches. A tall, completely distorted, wrong-looking shape appears in the frame. But Mark doesn't panic. Actually, instead, he says in this incredibly flat, emotionless voice, I think I know where to go now. And he just calmly walks toward this unmoving, observing entity. And with every single frame, the entity appears closer, but not because it's walking toward him. It's more like the physical space between them is just collapsing in on itself. And then the camera drops. All right, moving right along to Section 3, Entering the Mimic Fog. Jumping back to the present day now, the search party looking for Emily pushes forward, and they drop right into what is essentially a psychological trap. This fog they enter, it immediately ceases to act like natural weather. It doesn't react to the wind at all. It just exists, heavy, thick, almost like a solid wall. Eventually, they find tracks. Now, they expect to see Emily's normal hiking stride, right? Standard impressions. But the reality, they find a second set of prints right next to hers. And the strides of this second set are spaced impossibly far apart. The impressions are unnaturally deep. It is a completely non-human gait. And yet, looking at the tracks, there are zero signs of a struggle. Emily's prints show a calm, steady walk. Basically, she willingly followed whatever made those massive tracks. Which brings us to this absolutely terrifying question. Who is guiding them? Suddenly, the whole search team stops dead in their tracks. A faint whisper starts echoing in the fog. This way. Come here. But it's totally directionless. It's coming from behind them, it's in front of them, and honestly, most horrifyingly of all, it sounds like it's echoing from inside the Rangers' own heads. At this point, the environment itself has literally become the antagonist. So the absolutely crucial point here is what happens when they finally make contact. Up ahead, they see a figure standing in the fog. Naturally, they expect a lost hiker, panicked, relieved to see them, breathing heavily. But when the figure turns around, it looks like Emily, sure. But her posture is way too straight. Her eyes are completely unblinking, and she's looking through the Rangers rather than at them. And when she speaks, she has this incredibly disturbing double-layered voice. One tone is definitely hers, but the other tone is, well, it's something else entirely. The fake Emily smiles this very slow, highly controlled smile. She lets out this hollow laugh and then delivers this line. They don't take people, they learn them. And as she says this, the fog shifts around them, revealing dozens of tall, observing figures standing quietly between these impossibly even, patterned trees. The Rangers suddenly realize they aren't on a rescue mission at all anymore. They are completely surrounded. The source material lays out the chilling mechanics of how these entities operate. Step 1, observe the target in isolation. Step 2, adapt to their behavior and appearance. And Step 3, replace the original completely. To really demonstrate this process in action, one of the figures actually steps right out of the fog. It wears the exact same uniform and has the exact same face as one of the Rangers standing right there in the group. The copy's movements are just slightly delayed, almost like it's imitating or trying to perfectly match the real Ranger who is standing right beside it. Do you hear that? That's when the real psychological break begins. The Rangers start hearing personal, highly specific whispers. It's like the mimic fog actually knows them. One of the younger Rangers hears a whisper clearly meant only for him, and instantly, just like the runner Mark Ellison we talked about earlier, his fear completely vanishes. His body just relaxes. He turns to his terrified team, smiles at them, says, "It's okay, we're safe," and willingly steps backward, vanishing into the dense fog without making a single sound. At this point, complete and utter panic sets in. The lead Ranger screams for everyone to run, but the trap is already sprung. The fog parts just enough to reveal that the forest doesn't actually continue normally. Reality itself is layered and somehow distorted. They run blindly, but the terrain doesn't match their memory at all. The paths loop, the trees repeat. No matter which direction they try to flee, they end up back in the exact same place as these shifting, layered entities slowly close in on them. There is literally no escape. The resistance crumbles. One by one, the remaining Rangers just stop running, almost as if something deep inside them has finally accepted it. The lead Ranger turns around and comes face to face with an exact copy of himself. Same uniform, same face. But the eyes are empty, yet entirely aware. The copy leans in and whispers something directly into his ear. The lead Ranger just drops his weapon, and slowly, he smiles. Now let's look at Section 4, Recovered Footage. Weeks later, subsequent search teams discover a damaged but still functional camera left behind in the woods. When they play the footage, it just shows the fog, total silence. Then, a figure steps into the frame. It looks exactly like the lead Ranger. He bends down, picks up the camera, looks dead and completely unblinking directly into the lens, and speaks in this totally flat, emotionless void of a voice. Search is complete. We found everyone. Right as the video ends, it glitches, and for just a single fraction of a second, the awful truth is revealed. Behind the replicated Ranger, dozens of faces are visible, pressing desperately against the fog, trying to come forward. The entities are just waiting, layered right there just beyond our reality, wearing the faces of those who were lost. This whole account leaves us with a profound sense of psychological dread. Because, think about it. If the premise of this source material holds true, if people don't actually go missing in these dense forests, but instead they come back, just not as themselves, then who or what is walking among us right now? It's a thought that forces you to question literally every missing persons report you've ever seen. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. It's been a wild ride. And hey, if you ever find yourself off the trail and you hear a whisper in the fog, whatever you do, don't listen.